couch, dogs, me, guitar lessons. Hey there, LickNRiffers! Welcome to another awesome fingerstyle lesson right here on LickNRiff, and in this video I'm going to show you something seriously cool called polyrhythm, and I'm going to teach you how to play it with Travis picking, no less. So we're going to learn Travis picking polyrhythm, or polyrhythmic Travis picking. The name doesn't really matter, call it however you like. What matters is the concept. Polyrhythm is taking two completely different rhythms. I'm not just talking about the same rock rhythm or jazz rhythm and playing it in eighth notes or quarter notes. I'm talking about completely different rhythmic concepts and playing them at the same time. Now, how do you do that? With a lot of practice. That's the only answer I can give you, but I'm going to try and break it down for you so the practicing would be easier. Now, if you're a drummer and you have both your hands and both your legs to play, then polyrhythm would be a slightly easier concept than on the guitar. If you're a piano player, you have both hands. That's also a bit easier. Now, I said easier, not easy, because it's never easy to play polyrhythm. You have to actually hear a different rhythm than what you're basically playing. On the guitar, that's why I chose Travis picking, because Travis picking has a very, very distinct rhythm pattern. It's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, some people I know treat it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, but the basis for Travis picking is ragtime, and ragtime is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So our basis is this. Okay, I'm muting the bass notes on purpose. Now, once we have Travis picking down, and I do hope you have Travis picking down, because if you don't, then this would be really, really difficult for you. But you can try it anyway. It never hurts to try something out of your league. It always makes you a better player, even if you don't succeed. So, Travis picking is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, we're going to play 3/4 time with our fingers. I'm not talking about triplets. I'm not talking about this. Okay, I'm not talking about 3 notes along with each bass note. I'm not talking about takata 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 takata. I'm talking about 3/4 time along with the Travis picking itself. We're going to start off easy with an empty space at the end of the bar, and by the end of the lesson, I'm going to show you how it sounds when you don't stop. The first exercise is this. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, but on Travis picking. So the bass notes are still 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. Okay? So that's the end of the bar. We stop at the end there instead of starting a new triplet, because then our next bar would start at a different spot. That's why it's so difficult. So you start by playing the 3rd string with the bass note. I'm playing A minor, so the bass note is the A string. Then we have the 2nd string by itself, and then we have the 1st string with the alternating bass note, the D string. Okay, so play this. And this is basically all you need to know pattern-wise. So you play the 1st note with the bass note, the 2nd note by itself, then the 3rd note with the bass note. Okay? We're gonna call it with and without. Okay? So I can call it out. With, without, with. The next triplet is exactly the opposite of the first one. Without, with, without. Okay? So it sounds like this. Got it? With, without, with, without, with, without. Sounds funny, but it's actually excruciating. You try calling it out while playing it. The next rhythm pattern, after you got this down, is the first rhythm pattern with the bass notes in reverse. because you just played the bass note of the chord again. Okay, you played bass note, alternating bass note again. Now you start with the alternating bass notes. So you play with, without, with, but with the bass notes in reverse. You play the alternating bass note first, the 4th string here on A minor, and then the second time around on the E string you play the 5th string. So it's, and then it's the second rhythm pattern, without, with the alternating bass note. So that's actually the easiest way I've found of explaining this. Otherwise, you just have to count it. And believe me, counting it is a lot worse. Because here, at least you have a point of reference, the bass notes. So as long as you remember that it's 2 different patterns, with, without, without. Okay? They're reversed. As long as you remember that it's these 2 patterns, and then these 2 patterns again, but with the bass notes reversed, then you can start grasping the polyrhythm here. Or you can follow the tab really, really slowly and just blindly follow the tab until you get it. So, with, without, with, then the other way around, without, with, without, then these 2 patterns with the bass notes reversed. You start with the alternating bass note. With, without, with, without, with, without. And then you play the very first rhythm pattern again, just as it was, with the A string first, then with the alternating bass note, the 4th string. So that's our basic pattern. Listen to it. Okay? Now we have an 8th note left. We keep it quiet for now. We let the notes ring. We just leave it there, the 8th note. Okay, so we can go back and start at the first note of the bar. So okay, that's our first exercise. The next exercise, after you're bored with this, when you're bored with this, is to reverse the order of the strings. Instead of strings 3, 2, 1, play strings 1, 2, 3. Now, I don't have to explain it because if you are comfortable with the first exercise, you will be able to do this in no time. Okay? The third exercise would be to play something completely different. 3 pull off to 1 on the 2nd string, and then the 3rd string, like this. Okay, now this is really, really difficult and calls for a lot of concentration. Just rewind the video and look at my face. Okay, I wasn't even seeing the camera, I was just listening to the notes and trying to keep my hand playing the right rhythm. Now, this is actually easier when you look at the tab, because there's just a lick repeating itself and the bass notes aligning themselves along with the lick. So you start with the bass note, you pull off, and then the alternating bass note is along with the 2 on the 3rd string. And then, because we're playing triplets, we play the next bass note with the pull off. Okay? And then we play the 3rd string. Then, again, we play the first variation with the bass notes in reverse. So we start with the 4th string, and then with the 5th string along with the 3rd string. And then the second pattern in reverse, we play the alternating bass note, the 4th string, along with the pull-off. Okay? So now that we know the patterns, you see that the patterns themselves help us memorize and succeed in playing more complicated stuff. So, and then with the pull-off, in reverse. Start with the alternating bass note. Okay? And then the alternating bass note with the pull-off. And then you play the first pattern again. Now, when you're completely comfortable with this rhythm, when you can play all three of them in succession, okay? Then and only then try keeping the triplets going. And that will cause chaos, because you'll start the next loop in a different position inside the triplets. Listen to it. Okay, and only then will it align after 3 rounds. Each round will start at a different place. The first round will start obviously on the E string. The second round will start on the second string, and the third round will start on the third string. This is the real challenge of polyrhythm, playing through and not stopping and not leaving any space open and keeping both rhythms going. And once you can do that, congratulations, you're playing, drumroll, polyrhythmic Travis picking. And I actually have one more exercise for you. But since it's written in the tab, I'll only show you the basics of it, because if you're already fluent in polyrhythmic Travis picking, if you've reached this point of the lesson, then you're gonna have no problem with it. I'm just gonna show you where to put your fingers. So we're gonna play a rock and roll pattern like this. Okay? So put your first finger on the first fret of the third string, and your triplets are strings 3, 2, and 1. Your bass notes are the old cliche, this one, with your second finger and your pinky. You play 0, 4 on the E bass note, the E bass string, okay, and then 2, 4 on the A string, and then the open D string, then backwards 4, 2 on the A string, and then 4 on the 6th string. Now I'm gonna play it very, very slowly, like this. Remember, triplets, first pattern, 2 bass notes. Second triplet, 1 bass note. Third triplet, 2 bass notes. And then the last triplet for this riff, 1 bass note, and then we have 2 notes left. So it's this: 2 bass notes, 1 bass note, 2 bass notes, 1 bass note, and the surplus. So if you want to take that and add triplets, be my guest. I'm done for this lesson, but before you go practice this, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. There's a ton of lessons waiting for you to learn, and everything is for free, so why not subscribe and keep updated? Go to the website, download the tab, the link is right below in the description, and it's for free, just like everything else is for free right here on LickNRiff. But if you want to give something back, there's a large blue donation button right above the tab. You can't miss it. And if you want to help out with the lessons, everything goes right back into LickNRiff, into your own guitar education, into making these lessons and making time to work on them, edit them, upload them. It all takes time and effort. So if you want to help out, I'm very grateful, and I thank you in advance for it. You go practice this, have fun, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.